How's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to build a patio, going from how to lay all the pavers, laying out base rock, and compacting the subgrade from what we do when we run into problems, like a huge rock right where we need the patio. And with that, why don't we jump right into the excavation portion. This is one of the most important parts of your patio because it sets you up correctly for the most important part, which is your base of your patio. So what you got to think about when you're going for your base is we want to keep that base at least 6 inches down from our beginning grade. We want to leave about 4 inches for the subgrade, and then 2 to 2.5 inches for your actual pavers. So you'll need to measure those out yourself and figure out what that is. Now what you will see here is we have dug out a trench for this downspout to go underneath our patio. So we made sure in our excavation that we included digging an extra bit of a trench so that this downspout will go right through our patio and help alleviate some of those drainage problems. So you can kind of see us. We have already put the pipe in. We're backfilling it here, making sure we get all that dirt and put on there real well, and then we'll put gravel right on top of that. That's one big thing that you do want to plan for when you're building your patio, is how water is going to move and any drainage that might affect that. As you'll see in this video, we set our drainage to drain everything away from the house and away from the structures so that all water, when it rains, will drain naturally off of it. This will help your patio last for a lot longer. You never want water puddling or pulling up on your patios. That will just cause it to fail over time. And what you're seeing here is us running into a massive boulder. So we're in Middle Tennessee area. That's something we come into a lot, is running into boulders. You never know where they're going to be or how it's going to affect you. But you can see here we ran into this massive boulder, and it was below the line where we needed to excavate. So it had to be removed so that we could properly have the correct base. Luckily we had the machine here to do that for us. Otherwise it would have been a nightmare. But that is something to keep in mind, is that you might be shoveling out huge rocks. One other thing to think about before you start building your patio and when you're laying out the design and everything is that you're definitely going to want to call 811 dig, is what it's called in our area, and get all the utilities marked beforehand. So make sure there's no gas lines or anything that could prohibit you once you start excavating. Whether you're doing this by hand, which I definitely don't recommend, or with a machine, you certainly need to have everything marked. And yeah, if you run into any obstacles, as we did, you want to make sure that you get all that backfilled and compacted really well so that the base is nice and sturdy. Like I said, that's one of the most important things when you're building one of these, is just having a very sturdy base and getting a lot of rock down and compacting it very well. That'll make your patio last for a lifetime.
Mexico, represent.
Here you will see us start to lay out the base. So for this, we're using 3/4 down clean for the first 3 inches. And for the last inch, we will use 1/4 down clean as well. And so the theory behind the way that we build our bases, they do this a lot of the ways up north. It is considered just a clean base. So they have, other people might use sand or crusher run, which compacts really well, but it is not good for drainage. So the way that we do it with all our clean rock, it will allow everything to drain nice and good underneath the patio. And it essentially creates like one large dry well underneath the patio, so that water doesn't just sit there and create problems over time where it might with crusher run or sand with shifting. This will have water flow right through it, and it won't create huge problems down the line. So as you can see, we kind of set some out 1 inch or 2 at a time, and then we'll get it all compacted down real nice. As you can see, there is Romero already compacting down 1/2 that we have laid out, and we'll just continue to lay this out until we get that built up to our layer where we're going to add our last 1 inch. And every base can be a little bit different, but like I said, you want to have at least 3 inches of the 3/4 down and 1 inch of the base rock, which we use is 1/4 down clean. Compacting it is also the other really big thing that you can do that will work well. That just creates a big solid base. Like I said, the base is probably the most important part of any patio build. So making sure that you have a solid base is just about the most important thing that you can do in any patio build. From here is where we're putting down that last 1 inch of the clean gravel here. So what we'll do is we'll take 2 bars, and those, the outside diameter of those are exactly 1 inch. So we'll start shoveling our gravel in between those 2 bars, and we will use that level there to put it on each bar and pull it down and level it all out. And that will get us that 1 inch final layer that we're looking for. Now, to be exact, we also have these bars angled down at the angle that we want so that there's a slope away from the house. And there you can see what it's looking like as we're coming along in that one last, bit of base there. And this is us continuing to apply that. And just with this last layer, it's just super important that you get the slope right. After you get all that done, you can lay out your edge. There's our orange paint because we're doing 2 different colors for the outer perimeter as well as the interior. And you can see that we've laid that out. And so what we'll do is we'll lay that out and we'll cut all the interiors that we're going to use. And you can just start laying your pavers. For this patio, we decided that we were going to just lay them in a random design. A lot of times you can pick whatever design you want, or you can go with the random design, which is where you literally lay them out randomly. The only thing you got to be cautious of is those seams there, making sure that they're not too long, and that way water won't run down those. But as you can see here, it kind of starts flowing really well once you start laying them out. Kind of work on that perimeter first and start laying out all the interior stones that you would like. Now let's listen into some ASMR. And as you're laying these out, you can see that string line up on the top of the screen near the house. We have that laid across so that we know that our patio is going to be perfectly square. And, you want to tap on all these pavers as you're laying them in. You see that red mallet there. We'll go behind and tap them all into place. These pavers that we're using are Belgard cobblestone. And you see they have those things on the side there. So they're interlocking pavers. So they're supposed to lock in between themselves. But as you'll see here in a minute, we also put down polymeric sand, which helps lock those pavers together even better. So yeah, here's just another shot of us beginning to lay these pavers down. And you can already see that it's a nice look and a nice addition to their backyard there. Also, one thing you need to take into account when you're doing pavers is you'll want to give them a good soak and a good wash after you have them all laid down. You can see even with the moisture change from another day, from a cold morning, that those look darker. So here's the polymeric sand that we'll do. We'll put down all the poly sand here. Then what you'll do is you will take a broom and you'll rake it into all the grooves of the patio. And then what we'll do is we'll activate it. It's activated with water. So we'll spray it all down and get it nice and activated. And then you give it about 30 days for it to completely cure. And as you can see here, we'll just take a broom. It's nice and satisfying. And we will just push it into all of those grooves. And yeah, that is basically how to build a patio. It's a very brief version. I want you guys to let me know if we should make more videos like that. And please like and subscribe if you made it this far. Please consider subscribing. We're looking to have a great year going into 2026. Can't wait. Here's this beautiful patio.